What's up, guys? I'm Lithex, CEO and founder of Lithex Productions, and today we're going to take a look at how we can spawn objects at our mouse position using the new Unity input system. All right, let's get started. Let's go on ahead and add in our new input system. If you don't know much about the new input system, um, you can check out a video that I have on it, and there'll be a link for it in the description and in the card. So we're just gonna put it in real fast. We'll go to Unity Registry, Input, we'll throw that in there. So our goal here is we're gonna spawn objects depending on where our mouse clicked, and we'll just spawn it on our ground wherever we clicked at. So what we're gonna do, um, let's create a plane. So we're gonna create a 3D object, a plane. I'll just call it ground, and then I'm gonna scale it up everywhere. Okay. Um, let's create a folder here for our scripts. And then let's create another folder, and we'll just call it materials, and we'll create a new material, and we'll just call it cube mat. Now let's right click and create a cube, and let's move it up on the Y by 0.5. Now let's grab our cube mat, and let's just make it some sort of color we can see. Let's do green, how about that? Okay, and then put our cube mat on the cube, and then let's create another folder, and we'll call it prefabs. And let's drop that cube in the prefabs, and we can remove it from our scene now. Now in our scripts folder, let's create a new script, and we'll call it spawn object, or we'll call it spawn cube. Let's open that up in Visual Studio and start getting it ready for some code. Okay, so we don't need these or this. Let's make our namespace. So namespace, we'll do lp dot spawn objects new input tutorial. Okay, we'll slap that right in the middle. Okay, now we want to grab a reference to our object that we want to spawn. So we'll do it's a game object, and we'll say cube prefab. Okay. Now, before we get too much into this, normally right here is where we would create like input actions and all that other stuff. However, we're not going to do that this time. Instead, we're just going to reference our camera here. So camera, we'll call it cam equal to null. Now, I do want a start function. So let's get a start, and we'll just say cam is equal to camera dot main. And then we'll create a private void, and we'll say spawn cube. Well, let's just call it spawn. Well, spawn at mouse position. Okay, so here, instead of making an input action, what we can do is just reference our mouse, right? Oh, first, we need to add our using statement because we're using the new input system. So Unity engine dot input system. Okay. Now we're going to reference the current mouse that we're using. So mouse dot current, and we want to check if the left button was pressed this frame. Okay. Now we'll do a, let's make a ray. We'll just call it ray equals cam.screen point to ray. And then we're going to grab the mouse.current position, and we're going to read value. Okay. And oops, let's make a hit. So ray cast hit. Let's call it hit. Now we'll say if physics dot raycast, and if our ray out's a hit, now this is where we're going to spawn our cube. So all we have to do is we're going to instantiate, and we're going to instantiate our cube prefab. Now the location we want it to go is our hit.point, and we want to do quaternion.identity. And so what this means is we're going to spawn a cube at the location of where our mouse hit, and quaternion.identity means in the rotation that's already applied to the prefab. Okay, so this actually still won't work yet, so we need to add an update function, right? And now we can put our spawn at mouse position function in there, so we can actually start checking if our left button was pressed this frame. So let's save that, and we can hop back over into Unity. And I'm just going to throw this script on the ground. You know, we don't need a special game object for it or anything for this tutorial, but we'll grab this cube, our prefab cube, and put it in this cube prefab slot. Now, when we hit play, well, our camera's all funky. Let's fix our camera. So we're going to move our camera up. Let's rotate it down so we can see the ground. Okay. Now let's hit play. And when I click on the screen, there we go. We got a cube spawning on the ground wherever we click. So if we hop back over in the scene view, you can even see, actually, if you notice, they are halfway in the ground, right? So let's fix that real quick. Let's check out our script here. So we're spawning right where we hit. So what we really want to do is let's take this hit.point out, and let's do a new vector3, and we'll do our x is hit.point.x, and then our y is going to be hit.point.y plus cube prefab.transform.position.y. And now we want the z, so hit.point.z. Okay, and then I'm just gonna drop this down here so you can still see it. So what I just did here was I created a vector, and we're gonna grab our x and our z of our hit point. Now the height of our object, we're just going to check where we hit on the ground, and then we're gonna raise it by the position that our prefab was holding, which was 0.5, right? So if we save that and we come into Unity and hit play, let's check if that worked for us. So when we spawn our cubes, you can already tell that it's worked here. But if we go to scene just to make sure, there we go. Now they're perfectly on the ground, spawned wherever we put them. And they don't spawn if you drag. You know, they don't just keep spawning. They only spawn when you clicked, because it happened just that frame. And there you go. Also, what I just saw there, check that out. So because we hit the cube, it spawned on top of it, which is awesome because they do have colliders. So, you know, they can spawn on top of each other, which is awesome. So yeah, if you found that helpful, please smash a like on the video. And until next time, guys, peace.